Ever heard a story so strange it just sticks with you? Like years later, you're still thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Plenty of those out there.
Well, today we're diving into one that's exactly that, the disappearance and death of Elisa Lam.
Ah, yes, Elisa Lam. It's a case that really captures the imagination.
It does. A young woman traveling alone. A historic hotel, but with a dark past. And security footage that seems to defy explanation.
Yeah, it's no wonder people are still talking about it all these years later.
Okay, so for anyone who needs a refresher, Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old Canadian student, loved fashion, loved blogging, and she was managing bipolar disorder. And in January 2013, she went on a solo trip to Los Angeles,
Right, and she checked into the infamous Cecil Hotel.
the Cecil Hotel, January 26. And this place already had a reputation: suicides, unexplained deaths. It even housed Richard Ramirez at one point.
Oh, wow, the Night Stalker.
Yep. So it's almost like the building itself has this sense of unease about it.
And the location doesn't help either. It's in downtown LA near Skid Row.
Right. Not exactly known for being a peaceful part of town.
So yeah, you've got this really unsettling backdrop that kind of fuels all the mystery and speculation around Elisa's case.
Yeah, for sure. And right from the start, there were these little details that seemed off. Elisa was initially in a shared room, but her roommates complained about some odd behavior. We're talking strange notes. Locking herself in, demanding passwords.
That's a bit unsettling.
Yeah, so she ended up being moved to a private room. But even with those unsettling behaviors, she was calling her parents in Canada every day.
Okay, so she was in contact.
Yeah, every single day. But then on January 31st, the day she was supposed to check out, the calls stopped. Silence.
Wow, just like that.
Just like that. Gone. And the last confirmed sighting of her outside the hotel was actually at the last bookstore. She seemed cheerful and outgoing, picking out gifts for her family, which makes this sudden disappearance even more jarring.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the picture you'd expect of someone about to go missing.
Right. So, of course, her parents were frantic. They flew to L.A. to help search, and the media latched onto the story quickly. The LAPD was under a ton of pressure to find answers. They searched the hotel, interviewed staff and guests, but it was like chasing a ghost.
So no leads.
Nothing solid. And then on Valentine's Day, they released something that sent chills down everyone's spine: the elevator security footage.
Ah, yes, the footage. That's what really made this case explode.
Right. It's both fascinating and disturbing. You see Elisa enter the elevator, press a bunch of buttons, step in and out repeatedly, almost like she's playing hide and seek.
It's so strange.
It's like watching a scene from a horror movie. Her movements are erratic. She's gesturing wildly, even seeming to hide in the corner. Is she talking to someone we can't see? Is she reacting to something in the elevator itself? It just raises so many questions.
And then there's the whole thing about the timestamp being distorted.
Oh yeah, and some people claim there are missing frames,
Oh.
which of course sparked a ton of online speculation about the video being edited or tampered with.
Right. I remember that. And that's where that elevator game theory came in.
Exactly, this creepy ritual that supposedly lets players travel to other dimensions.
I mean, it sounds like something out of a horror movie.
It does. But people were making connections to Elisa's strange behavior in the elevator.
The internet loves a good mystery, and this case had all the ingredients.
It did. But for 2 weeks, the biggest question was, where did Elisa go after that elevator ride?
Yeah.
And then comes this discovery. And it's even more unsettling than that elevator footage. It wasn't the police who found Elisa, it was a hotel maintenance worker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, guests had been complaining about the water, low pressure, a strange color and taste.
Ugh, sounds awful.
Yeah, and what they found, far more horrifying than just a plumbing issue.
They found Elisa.
They did. Her body was found in one of the 4 massive water tanks on the hotel roof. Think about that for a second. These tanks aren't easily accessible.
You'd need to get past locked doors and everything.
Exactly. Find a ladder, climb onto the tank platform.
Yeah.
Then wrestle with these heavy lids. It just seems impossible.
It does.
And the autopsy report ruled her death an accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder as a significant factor.
So a tragic accident then.
Maybe. But the details are strange. She was found naked, her clothes were in the tank with her, and there was this odd sand-like particulate on her clothes that matched residue found on the roof.
Huh. So how did she end up on the roof? How did she get in the tank? Was anyone else involved? So many questions.
Right, was this a tragic accident brought on by her mental health struggles? Or was there something more sinister at play? Was someone else involved? Did someone tamper with that elevator footage? It's enough to make your head spin.
It really is. Yeah, it really does feel like every new piece of information just brings up more questions. Even with the official ruling of accidental drowning, there's still so much that doesn't quite add up.
Totally. Like, how did she even get up to that water tank in the first place? Those roof access doors were supposed to be locked? Only staff have keys and codes.
Right. And even if someone did unlock them, those doors are supposed to trigger an alarm, but the hotel claims no alarm went off.
Some people have suggested maybe she used the fire escape, but even that wouldn't be easy. And then there are those heavy tank lids. Even if she somehow reached the tank, how could she have lifted one, climbed inside, and then closed it behind her? It's mind-boggling.
It really is a question that stumped everyone: investigators, internet sleuths. And of course, this all takes place within the context of the Cecil Hotel and its history, a place known for suicides, unsolved murders, even serial killers.
It's almost like the perfect breeding ground for these dark theories. It's no wonder so many people lean toward a more sinister explanation. Like, was Elisa the victim of foul play? Was someone else involved?
Well, let's look at that possibility, the murder theory. Could someone familiar with the hotel have targeted Elisa?
I mean, it's possible, right? The Cecil had long-term residents, so it wouldn't be impossible for someone to know the building really well, including maybe secret ways to access the roof.
And some people point to that sand-like substance found on her clothes as potential evidence. Could that mean her clothes were removed and placed on the roof before being thrown into the tank?
That's a chilling thought, and it's one that investigators haven't been able to completely rule out. And then there's the missing phone. It was never recovered, not in her room, not with her body, nowhere.
Maybe that phone holds some answers. Did someone take it to cover their tracks?
It's possible. But let's shift gears a little and think about Elisa's bipolar disorder for a second. Could she have experienced a psychotic episode that led her to the roof?
Well, remember those complaints from her roommates about her odd behavior? Could those have been signs of her mental state deteriorating?
Yeah, possibly. And the autopsy did confirm she had her prescribed meds in her system, though at lower levels than expected. So some experts have suggested maybe she was under-medicated or had changed her medication routine, which could have triggered a manic episode.
Right. And during a manic episode, someone with bipolar disorder might experience all sorts of things: heightened energy, racing thoughts, difficulty sleeping, even hallucinations or delusions. And their judgment can be impaired, leading to impulsive or even risky behavior.
So in Elisa's case, could a manic episode explain her behavior in the elevator?
Yeah.
I mean, even an impulsive decision to go up to the roof.
It's certainly a possibility. But even if she did reach the roof during a manic episode, the question remains, how did she get into that water tank? That part is still incredibly hard to reconcile with the physical challenges involved.
And then there's that whole Lam Elisa theory. Sounds like something straight out of a conspiracy thriller.
Right. It is a strange coincidence. Around the time of Elisa's death, there was a tuberculosis outbreak in Skid Row, and the test kit used to diagnose TB. It was called Lam Elisa.
Wow.
So some people saw that as more than just a coincidence, speculating that Elisa might have stumbled upon something related to the outbreak, or even become a target because of her name.
It's a far-fetched theory for sure. But the timing and the name similarity are definitely eerie. And of course, we can't forget about that dark water connection. The horror film where a young girl drowns in a rooftop water tank.
Yeah, the parallels are chilling. It's easy to see why people make the comparison. Some think it's a case of life imitating art. Others just dismiss it as a creepy coincidence. But regardless, it adds another layer to the mystery, another layer of intrigue.
Right, it's like the Elisa Lam case has become a magnet for theories. Every new detail adds fuel to the fire.
But even with all these theories and all the speculation, it's important to remember the human element. At the heart of the story is a young woman who lost her life under tragic and very mysterious circumstances.
Absolutely. It's easy to get wrapped up in the detective work and the intrigue. But behind all of that is a grieving family who are still searching for answers. Even after going through all the evidence and all the theories, there's still this feeling like something's not quite right. Like we might never really know what happened to Elisa Lam.
It really highlights how sometimes, even with all our technology and investigative tools, some questions just don't have clear answers.
Yeah, it really messes with our desire for closure. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But maybe that's part of what makes this case so fascinating. We're left with ambiguity, with these limits to what we can actually know.
I think you're right. This case isn't just about how Elisa died. It's about our own fascination with the unknown. with the things that lurk just beyond what we can see and understand.
I think that's a great point. It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. For me, it's that elevator footage. I keep coming back to it. It's like this brief, unsettling glimpse into her final moments. But it's only a tiny piece of the whole story. What was she thinking? What was she experiencing? Was she really alone? Or was there something else happening that we just can't see?
It shows how what we see isn't always the whole picture. There are always layers beneath the surface, unseen forces at play. And in Elisa's case, those unseen forces could be any number of things. The complexities of mental illness, the possibility of someone wanting to harm her, or even something darker that people have suggested.
And then you have the Cecil Hotel itself, adding to that mystery. It's not just a random location. It's a place with a history of darkness, a place where tragedy seems to happen over and over again, like the building itself has its own energy, its own secrets.
It's almost as if Elisa's story got mixed up with that history, blurring the lines between fact and fiction, reality, and the paranormal. And that's what makes it so hard to shake off, that blend of real and unreal.
So where does that leave us? Did Elisa's bipolar disorder lead to a tragic accident? Was she the victim of a crime? Or is there something else at play here, something we just can't grasp?
We may never know for sure, but maybe that's okay. Maybe the bigger lesson here is that even when faced with the unknown, we can still learn, explore, and try to put the pieces together, even if we never get a complete picture.
And that's what we do here on The Deep Dive. We dig into the complicated stuff, the unanswered questions, the things that don't quite make sense. We try to find meaning even when the world doesn't make sense to us.
Exactly. And we hope you keep exploring too. Keep asking those questions and share your own theories. What parts of Elisa's story stand out to you? What conclusions have you come to? Tell us about it in the comments.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Elisa Lam case, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more explorations of history's mysteries. Until next time, keep diving deep.